about karma, the law of karma. More and more people in the world are accepting this law of karma as the only. Even those people who are not religious, but yet this doctrine of karma is accepted by them. Now if a person says, well, I don't believe in this doctrine of karma. Well, you may or may not believe in this, but you are ruled by it. This is if you say, I don't believe in the law of gravity. Fine. Then just experience for yourself. Go to the 10th floor and jump from there. Then you know whether there is a law of gravity and you are ruled by it or not. So our life is governed by this law of karma. All the circumstances of our life, the pain and pleasures that we experience, they are a consequence of our own actions. So this doctrine of karma is actually the doctrine of cause and effect. What you sow, you reap. That's what it is about. जो करेंगे सो मरेंगे. So whatever we do, the actions that we perform, we receive. We have to go through the consequences of those actions, and it will be exactly according to what you have done, neither less nor more. To cry against any injustice, many a time I don't think it's fair, I didn't do anything wrong. We have that kind of feeling. I've always been good to people. I get comments like this coming to me from a lot of people. Then why did this happen to me? So it's like crying against any injustice. It's actually speaking ignorance of this doctrine of karma. To be born a beggar or a king, or to be born a helpless cripple or an athlete. This is all a consequence of the actions that we ourselves have performed in our past lives. Now let us go a little deeper into this doctrine of karma. This has got 3 sections. Listen very carefully. I'm going to explain in a very simple way, and I'm sure you'll understand, but just pay attention. Karma is divided into 3 sections. The word karma comes from Kri. Kri is Sanskrit, which means action. So karma is all about action, and there are 3 sections. One section is called Sanchit karma. The second section is Prarabdha karma. What we are talking about here, destiny. The Hindi term is Prarabdha, destiny, or you can say fate, for various things. So first, as I said, is Sanchit karma. The second is destiny or Prarabdha karma. And the third is Kriyaman karma, which is our freedom of will to perform action. Sanchit karma, Prarabdha karma, Kriyaman karma. Now what is Sanchit karma? Sanchit karma is that vast, unlimited balance of all the karma that we ourselves have performed in our countless past lives, which is there for us to work out. As we said, what you sow, you reap. So we have soul. We have performed all these actions which are all there as a deposit, and they have to be worked out. We have to go through the consequences of these actions, and this balance is a vast, unlimited balance of action, because we perform action every second. The Bhagavad Gita says, Nahi kaschit charmapi jatu tishthatte karmakrit. Third chapter, 5th verse. We cannot remain inactive even for a fraction of a second. We appear to be just relaxing, not doing anything, but your mind is working. So we are constantly doing. So all that is deposited, and it's called sanchit karma. The balance that we have to still work out what we have sowed, the action that we have performed, we have to still go through those the consequences of that. That is called sanchit karma. Next, prarabdha karma. What is prarabdha karma, destiny? It is a small little portion of that vast, unlimited sanchit karma that we have performed. A tiny portion of that is given to us in this particular life to work out. That is called fate or destiny. It is a very small part, but we cannot change it. We have to go through the consequences that we have performed ourselves. It's a part of our own sanchit karma. It's not fallen from above, neither has God pushed it out to us. It is our own actions. And a tiny part of that is given to us in this life to work out. That is called destiny, and that is inevitable. Avashyameva bhoktavyam kritam karma shubhashubham nabhuktam kshiyate karma kalpakoti shataivapi. Maharaj is saying that destiny you have to go through. It cannot be wiped out. Kahamuni saimamanta sunu jevidiri kalilahar devadanuj naranagamuni kona mittana. Forget astrologers and this, nobody can change it. Devadanuj naranagamuni, even the celestial gods, nobody can change that. We can see for ourselves. It's written in humor, of course, but there is a verse that tells you that look how powerful fate is, that the Supreme Lord, Mahavishnu, poor man, he has no bed to sleep on. So what is he sleeping on? A bed of snakes. We at least have got comfortable beds to sleep on. But that is fate. And look at Lord Shiva. We have such wonderful clothes to wear, we can keep changing. And being God himself, he's always clad in what? A lion skin. You've seen that, right? And he goes around begging for food. Just to make us understand how powerful destiny can be, these examples are given to us, and we try to escape from it. Ravan. Do you know that he was a scholar of all the Vedas? He actually wrote commentaries on it. A great Brahmin. But he paved the way for his own destruction by kidnapping Sita. You know that. Fate. In the war of Mahabharata, Abhimanyu, you have heard his name? Abhimanyu is the son of Arjuna. And he was trapped by the Kauravas, tricked and killed in the battle of Mahabharata. He was very young. And his wife became a widow at the age of 16. How powerful destiny is. That Arjuna is actually an avatar of Narayan, his father. And the one who performed his wedding rites was Vedavyas, another avatar. Obviously he knew when he was conducting the marriage rites that this man is going to die very soon, his wife would remain a widow. And yet he conducted it. And do you know who the uncle of Abhimanyu was? No less a personality than the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. He's present over there. And still Abhimanyu dies, and all he does, he says to Arjun, I'm sorry to hear it. It's like you go around offering up condolences. Even Sri Krishna is offering his condolences to Arjun and not doing anything about it. He could have brought him back to life. He's God himself, right? This is how powerful destiny is. We have to go through it. Yes, one thing we can actually, we are talking about changing destiny, where there is acceptance of this destiny, it makes a lot of difference. When we don't accept it and we protest and we think it's unfair, it's unjust, that's when we go through more pain and suffering. There are people who accept cancer as a grace. That suffering is bringing me closer to the Lord. It's bringing me to a state of humility. It's bringing me to a state of detachment. And they take it as a grace. You see, it makes a big difference how we regard what we have to go through in life. So it is only our own karma. That destiny is not fallen from anywhere. Whatever actions we have performed with the freedom of will, that comes to us in this life as destiny, and it has been described in the Hitopdesh. What is destiny? Purva janma kritam karma taddaiva miti kathyate. हमारे किए हुए पिछले जन्म के कर्म वो इस जन्म में उसका नाम बदल गया. We performed that action with the freedom of will in the past life, and in this life it came to us as destiny. Destiny is the name given to it, but it's just a change of name. It's like a person before marriage, she is Miss, right? And after marriage, Mrs. In the same way, the action performed with freedom of will in past life, in this life, that same action is called destiny. But it's nothing but our own actions that we perform with a freedom of will. Now these actions that we perform, before you ask this question, I'm giving the answer. They have got different maturity dates. Some people often say, it's not fair, what I did in my past life I don't remember. Why do I have to suffer that? Yes, I'm sure you think that way many a times. Well, as I said, just like we have term deposits in the bank, some are current accounts, some are savings accounts, some are fixed deposit accounts. So they mature at later dates. Same thing applies to the karma that we perform. Suppose your mind is absorbed in some thoughts and you are cooking something and not realizing it, you hold on to a hot pan. So what happens? The karma immediately takes effect. In a sense, you burn your hands, right? It doesn't happen 2 years later or next life. It happens immediately. So the same thing happens with the karma that we perform. Some bear fruits in the same life and some carry forward to another life. So this destiny is a very small part of that huge balance of sanchit karma that comes to us in this life to work out. आप लोगों ने धृतराष्ट्र का नाम सुना है ना? कौरव के पिता. 100 sons, right? And all of them were killed in the battle of Maharaj. And he asked Sri Krishna, I want to get the answer to this question. What have I done to deserve such a bad destiny? As far as I remember, I have not done anything like that. To be born blind, This is a consequence of your past action. You must have done something in your last life. He said, I perfectly remember I didn't do anything like that. What about the one before that? I remember that also very well. And what about the one before that? So, Dhritarashtra, every time Sri Krishna questioned him, he said, I do remember. He remembered almost 3 or 4 past lives. And what about the one before that? That I don't remember. Sri Krishna said, if you take out 3 drops from the ocean, and since the ocean has become lesser, then it's something that a person would laugh about, isn't it? So 3 lives you remember, but you had countless lives before this. So nothing happens to you which you yourself have not done. There is nothing unfair in this. So to say, destiny is our own actions performed with a freedom of will in the past life. So they come to you in this life to work out. If we were to bear all the actions that we have performed now, we won't live. We'll go crazy. We've done so much in past lives. So a tiny portion of it is given to us to work out. So this is prarabdha karma, right? Now the third is kriyaman karma. What is that? Our freedom of will to perform action. This is the most important of the other 2. Kriyaman karma, freedom of will. With this freedom of will, we can forever get out of this business of destiny and our past karma, or bondage of karma. That's how powerful. We are talking about changing your destiny. We can change it with this kriyaman karma. What we do in this life is going to determine your future. As I said, by coming over here, you are already shaping your destiny. How? Because what we do every moment in human life, that determines your future. We are already shaping our destiny of the future. So, we are products of the past, and at the same time, we are producers of the future. You understand what I'm saying? The destiny that comes with us, we are products. And at the same time, whilst having to go through destiny, we are producers of the future. We can change that destiny by having a bright future and one day getting out of this cycle of birth and death and this bondage of karma. Now the important part, very important part, most important part to remember is that freedom of action, the privilege of kriyaman karma is only given to human beings. Remember this. Only human beings have the privilege of performing actions with a freedom of will that can one day wipe out your destiny completely. Or we can make it worse also. That's the freedom of will, you see. You either rise up or you go down. So we have to be very cautious about it. But as I said, it's only human beings, only in human life. Not even the celestial gods have the freedom of will to perform action that's going to yield fruits. That's why human life has been highly praised, highly. Durlabho mansho devo denam chanamangura. Durlabham manusham janma praptyate tridashairapi. The celestial gods are also envious of us. हम देवताओं को पूजा करते हैं ना, आहुति देते हैं यज्ञ में, but they long to be human beings. Their body is very, very divine. There is no sweating, there is no smell in their bodies, and they have very special bodies. And our body, you know how it is. This is a bag of bones and flesh, and then so many problems with it, complicated. Yet, celestial gods want the human form because we have the privilege of performing fruit-yielding action. So once and for all, you can get out of this cycle of birth and death only in human form. Please note this, because in this life we can shape our destiny. If we perform the wrong kind of actions, we will lose the human life and be born in another life as well. We can be born as, we can go from human to divine, or we can move from human to animal. Of course, even in animals there is a difference. If we have done something good as well alongside, and if a person is born as a dog, right? Now, in India there are dogs that move around on streets and you throw food and they lick plates from there. And there are dogs in this country that move around in Mercedes cars as well. And there are beauty parlors for them, there are competitions, all this happens. This dog also there is difference. This is a karma in human form, not the karma of the dog, it's the human form. I think in this country some cat was given a legacy of only 17 million pounds or something like that. Anyway, so what I'm saying is, this is karma performed in human life only. So we have to be very cautious. Every moment we are shaping our future. What we have got from the past as destiny, we have to work it out. And attitude makes a difference. You see, happiness is only an attitude away. When we look below us, my spiritual master, who is the fifth original Jagadguru, he always teaches that when you are in the world and you think you are going through the worst, then look below you. How many people are worse off than you are? People in hospitals, people don't have a square meal to eat, they are sick, whatever. Then you will find, oh my God, thank the Lord, I'm far above that. On the spiritual side, look above you at those people who are devoting their time. In spite of all their busy routine, they are very devotional and involved. Then you will move forward. So human beings alone have the freedom to perform karma. And this karma, if it is, we can add to the past or we can deduct from there. Now, the next thing which is important to know is, I said destiny is inevitable. We have to go through that. Now, what things are determined by destiny? Listen very carefully. Because what we do is, things that are already predetermined, we try our level best to change them. Right? We devote all our time. I want to get this done. And it's already predetermined. And things that can be changed, we say, oh, it's not in my fate, and it must be this and we express our helplessness. So again, the Hindyopadesh is telling us what is written in destiny. The major things. Of course, it's a very complicated computer. Don't come to me after the lecture asking me, oh, well, this happened in my life. It's little things. My neighbor did this to me and my husband did this to me. So was it my fate? It's a very complicated computer. I'm just going to the mainstream so we understand. So things that are predetermined is Ayu, Karma cha Vittan cha Vidya Nidhanameva cha Panchaitanyapi Sujjante Garbhasthasaiva Devina. From the time a person is in the womb, the soul is in the womb, certain things are predetermined. What are they? How long we are going to live. That is predetermined. Wealth is predetermined. Intelligence is also predetermined. Death is predetermined. These few things are predetermined according to our past karmas. Now, death is predetermined. We just have an example. An example that shook the world on 12th June. You all heard about the crash of the flight. And think a plane crashing, you don't think anybody would be out alive. But an example was given by the Lord. The person who was not meant to die, he opted out. It's a unique example. All these examples are teachers for us to understand. He could have died with the rest of them, but one person escaped. He escaped, and the place that the plane crashed, young people died over there. Some people who were meant to be on the flight, they got late. You read all that, right? So if death was not written, they will not die. And this happens every time we have natural calamities. Earthquakes, some people are taken out alive from the debris almost 8 days later. And little children alive underneath. And there are people who were not meant to be in a particular building, the World Trade Center. We have had stories after that. People who decided to take a holiday, they were saved. And some people decided out of the blue to go to the bank, and they were gone. So death is predetermined. A lot of people, कैसेट बन गई आजकल त्र्यंबकम यजामहे सुगंधिम पुष्टिवर्धनम मां जाप कराते हैं किससे मृत्यु से बच जाएंगे. अभिमन्यु चले गए, that's a big example. Then how can we escape death? It's predetermined. Now the next thing, the main thing we devote our lives in, especially in Kali Yuga, is about more and more wealth, right? And it says your wealth is predetermined. According to the charitable works we have done in previous life, we are born with this, you could say, this amount of wealth that we will gain in our life. All our efforts revolve around much more that we want. I'm not saying that you don't earn a living. We have to earn a living. But what the problem is, that is desire for more. It brings restlessness to our lives. Keep taking jobs, doing this, what should I do? I want more. That's restlessness of the mind. And when you fail, that brings anger. So we are trying to see. See, money is a friend, but when we become attached to it, the love for it, that becomes a problem. We need the money, there's no doubt about it. So it's predetermined, and we spend all our lives in this country. The whole chase, the violent chase is for money, and that's why now education has also become so important. So important, people are hyper about it. My A levels, my O levels. I was going out 2 months later to Jakarta, and I have a certain slot which I get a lot to whichever place I'm going to. And I got back a reply, can you change your date, Didi? My daughter has got A levels, board exam. How do I keep changing all this? We have to adjust and try to, and what is this education for? It's a breadwinning education, as Swami Vivekananda said. For food, clothes, shelter, isn't it? That's what it is for. And we are putting so much of mental stress on ourselves and our children as well. So wealth is predetermined. I was just saying, a great saint named Bharti, he's written a wonderful shlok. He says, Yadhata nijabhala patta likhitam stokam mahadvadaram tat prapnoti marusthalepi nitaram Merau tatonnadikam tadhiro bhavavittavansu kripanam rittim vithamakrita kupe pashyapayodha vidhavapigato grinati tunyam jalam. He says, whatever is predetermined to you, for you in terms of wealth, you will get it. No matter you are in a desert where everything is barren, but if you are supposed to get that wealth, you will get it there as well. And you might try to gain more by climbing. You heard about the mountain Sumeru? Sumeru is a mountain of gold. You might climb the Sumeru mountain to get more, but you will not get a penny more. This is what he's trying to teach us. It's like if you take a pot to a well, take out water, not enough. Let me take this pot to the river, I'll get more water. Okay, take it. But water inside that pot remains the same. Then you decide, I'm going to go to the ocean, and that's where I'll get more water. You will not get even a drop more because the space inside the pot is the same. That's what we are doing, isn't it? What business should I do to get more money? Okay, try. Oh, my friend, he made so much money. Why isn't it I'm not making money? Okay, let me change my country, let me change my job, let me do this. It's all about, I will get more. No. You're going to get what is predetermined for you. Yes, maybe if you really work hard. So if you're supposed to get 10,000 pounds, you might get 10,100 because you work so hard. But 10,000 is not going to become 20,000. No. There's an anecdote about this, that Parvati once approached Lord Shiva. She says, you're God. You're not doing anything then. I can see that there's so much of poverty in the world. Why can't you help these poor people out? You're God. So she was very persistent. Lord Shiva didn't say anything. He said, okay, if that's what your wish is, let's go. They came to this world and Lord Shiva, he had a bag of gold with him, coins in it, and he said, look, can you see that poor man coming down the road? I just placed the bag over here. So he kept it. That's what you want, isn't it? So that person was at a distance and he was walking down, and in the middle of the road was his bag containing the gold coins. So as he was walking, his mind was lost in thoughts. And he suddenly had this funny thought, I wonder how blind people walk in this world. It's so difficult to walk. And he looked at the road, it looks straight. I'm going to close my eyes and see whether I can walk. And he closed his eyes, kept walking, and missed that bag of gold and went ahead. Lord Shiva said, saw that Parvati? It is his destiny, you won't get it. I put it right there for him. So to say, wealth is predetermined. There are some people, uneducated people, who cannot even sign their names and they are multimillionaires. And educated people with great degrees, they're not even getting good jobs. You see that all around you, right? So we have to understand where to use our privilege, our freedom of will, instead of wasting our time trying to change things that are predetermined. As I said, we run to astrologers, we run to fortune tellers, and these poor fortune tellers, they don't even know their own fate. They try to predict ours, but they don't know their own, nor can they change it. There's this story of a Greek astrologer I read. he was an astrologer to the king of the country. And he thought no end of himself. Obviously, if he's an astrologer for the king, he thought there was nobody like him. And he was always very proud of this job that he had. So one day he was walking back from the palace home and looking at the stars and lost in his thoughts with all his pride. He didn't see in front of him. There was a hole over there, a dry well. And he fell into it, poor man. It was all dark over there and didn't seem there were people living around. So he was screaming and shouting for help. He was lucky. There was this woman who was living nearby. She heard his cries and she gave him the rope and she helped him out of it. I thank you so awfully. You helped me out of this place. I would have remained here all night. Nobody here. No, it's okay. I only did what I needed to. It's fine. He said, my dear lady, do you know who I am? I don't know. I only know that you fell in the well and I saved you. I am the king's astrologer. Okay. And I don't predict anybody else's fate excepting I am confined to the royal house. But because you have saved me, I'm going to predict your future for you. I'll come around tomorrow and I'll predict. She said, my dear man, what kind of astrologer are you? You don't know your own future, what are you going to predict mine? You could not see that well in front of you. So I would advise you that you should walk looking at the ground instead of looking at the stars and the moon. So to say, we trust astrologers and fortune tellers. What are they going to do? Suppose an astrologer predicts something, because sometimes they want money. Okay, do this, I'll pray for you in India and I'll do this, that and the other. Okay, fine. So the prediction is that, you are going to, after 1 week from now, say about 6 months from now, you're going to suffer a heart attack. 6 months from now, heart attack. Your son is going to go through a very bad heart attack. And when you hear this, what happens? Till the 6-month period is over, you are going to have thought attacks. Those thought attacks may also lead to a heart attack before your son has a heart attack. So what is the point of knowing? Learn to live life and tackle all these problems with an understanding. That will help you. So certain things are predetermined and we have to learn to accept them. There is a card. I never forget that card. In that card is written that, oh God, give me the courage to change the things that I can and to have the patience to accept the things that I cannot change and give me the wisdom to differentiate between the two. That's important. We are putting all our efforts trying to change things which we cannot do anything about. And what we can change, it's all written, I can't do anything about it. Bhagwan ki ichha hai, as samay kara lega. We always got something or the other to make excuses. So now you've understood this tree and the interplay. Let me give you an example of interplay also. How faith and freedom of will, they interplay to determine your future. We were talking about wealth. A lot of people, they go around buying lottery tickets, hoping that someday kabhi to niklega. Now suppose somebody won a lottery ticket. Two friends got a lottery ticket. Serial number was close to each other, but one person won. So he won 50,000 pounds and his other friend, that's just by one number I missed. Yes, you're going to miss it because it's not in your destiny. It was in his destiny, so he won that lottery. Okay. So destiny got him that money. 50,000 pounds out of the blue. He had invested £1, he got 50,000 pounds. This is destiny. Without doing any work, he got that money. Now, once he has that money, what is he going to do with that money is going to determine his future. What should I do with this 50,000 pounds? I think I'm going to make this 50,000 pounds 500,000. I'll invest in shares. I'll make more money. No, what I'll do is eat, drink, and be merry. Who knows? I'm going to be alive tomorrow. Let me enjoy myself. Or I'll just give it to my children. I'll put it in their bank account. Or let me do some charitable work. I got this money out of the blue, and there are so many people suffering in the world. Let me give it for a good cause. Now, what he does with this 50,000 is going to be paving his future. So it is an interplay, like Ramakrishna Paramahansa used to give the example of a cow. Suppose a cow is tied to a tree. The rope is about 100 feet, right? Now this cow, within that 100 feet, the cow can sit 100 feet away, or it can move about around here and there, or it can come near the tree and stand over there. So the moment within that 100 feet, the cow is free to do whatever it wishes to do. So we are born with a certain destiny, but within that circle, we have got the freedom to do what we wish to, and what we do is going to determine your future. Every moment we are shaping our future. When you look angrily at a person with hatred, you have already made a karma without saying anything. You see, every moment we are doing it. It's like, I think it was Swami Vivekananda, he gave the example of, people play cards. The name is the game, say for instance, bridge. People play that game, right? Now, you have not invented the game, have you? No. Have you made the rules of the game? No. Have you designed the cards? No. And do you have any control over the dealing of the cards? They deal the card. People are sitting there for them playing? No. However, a person with bad cards can play a good game, and a person with good cards can end up playing a bad game. This is what our life is about, our freedom of will. We are born with a certain destiny and circumstances. How we are going to deal with it is going to determine our future. These are simple examples I'm just giving you. So, Sanchit karma is that huge balance of karma we have performed through countless lives. Prarabdha is that tiny portion which is taken out and given to us, and there are certain things which are determined, predetermined, as I said to you. Ayu karma cha vittancha vidyanidanam and kriyaman karma, that's the main of freedom of will to perform fruit-yielding action. And through this action, we can forever be out of this vicious circle of bondage of karma. That is the main thing to know. And that we can do only in human life. What is the karma that is going to get us out of this bondage? Because we've got countless lives also will not be enough to work on the karma, and every life we are adding to it, right? So how do we get out? The answer is in the Bhagavad Gita. The concluding verse of Sri Krishna, he says to Arjuna, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shriya. 18th chapter, 66th verse. Come and surrender to me alone, Arjun. You don't have to worry about anything. I am going to completely burn your entire file. That Sanchit Karma file, I will get rid of it completely and liberate you. From time to time he keeps telling Arjun this. Tameva sharanam gaccha sarvabhavena bhavavrata mameva ye prapadyante mayame tantaranti te 7 chapter 14 verse. It's a very important verse. We cannot cross this ocean of Maya. These diseases of Maya, anger, greed, jealousy, etc. These are all soldiers of Maya. How do we get out, get rid of them? Come and surrender to me. With my grace, Maya will go. So the act, the one karma that we have to learn to perform is surrender. All the religions talk about surrender in different ways. Buddham sharanam gacchami, dhammam sharanam gacchami. Mamekameva sharanam atmanam sarvadehinam. Bhagavad Puran. Everywhere it is about Tolaseva Sharana Amahasya with surrender. Surrender is that one action. We can call it devotional action, which will forever get us, which will liberate us from this cycle of birth and death, this bondage of countless karmas that we are still working out today. So that is one way to be free of suffering. Now, how do we implement this surrender? हम लोग सुनते तो हैं शरणागत हो जाओ, मुंह से भी बोलते हैं श्री कृष्ण शरणम मम. But surrender is not about verbal surrender. The practical aspect of surrender in day-to-day life. How do we move towards? You see, surrender is not that, okay, I'm going to surrender, it happens overnight. It's a process, step-by-step process. This again has been declared in the Bhagavad Gita. How do we move towards surrender? It's in the 8th chapter, the 7th verse, Shri Krishna says to Arjuna, this is what you have to practice. What is it? Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmara yudhyacha. Arjuna, at all times and all places, remember me and perform your duty with detached mind. What binds us? Which karma binds us? Where there is an attachment to the karma, that karma binds us. Right? So we have to learn and practice this detached karma in this material world with an understanding. The binding force comes from attachment. Remember that. So detached performance of karma with mind attached to God. The whole problem is the mind. Depending upon the attachment of the mind, we are rewarded accordingly. The attachment of the mind to the pure, to the divine, liberates us, and the attachment of the mind to this material world, it binds us even further. So understanding that I am not this body. You see, that's the beginning of the Gita. When Arjuna says to Sri Krishna, you are my Guru, I am a disciple. Please help me out. My mind is in a complete stress state. I'm anxious, I'm completely torn apart about what my duty is. I don't want to engage myself in killing all these people who are my kith and kin. It'll be a sin. That's how it stands, isn't it? And Sri Krishna explains to him the difference between the two, the body and the soul. This body, which we identify with, our whole identification revolves around the body, my name, my profession, my caste, my profession, etc., the religion we belong to, etc. So our complete identification is the body. And from time to time, when somebody leaves the world, and we witness this, the person is lying over there and everybody is crying. Why? वो चला गया. अरे कौन चला गया? लेटा तो है? No. It's a खाली शरीर है. This is the body. That which left, that is the real I, right? So for this, we do not need to go to the scriptures to have this kind of understanding. We see it. Whenever there is a death, we separate the two. The body is different and that which left is the main person, right? Now that main person, the I, if we constantly tell our mind, I am not this body, I am a soul, and as Sri Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mamaivanshu Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, 15th chapter, 7th verse. All the souls are parts of me. So we are parts of Sri Krishna, and due to ignorance, we have been revolving in this cycle of birth and death since time immemorial, and due to identification with the body, we are attached to this world, and this attachment is creating more and more bondage. So the more we understand this, you see, only with understanding we will be able to execute what the Gita is teaching about detached performance of karma. Our attachment is limited only to a few people, that's all, and a few things. When we understand that this is temporary, nothing belongs to me. I have a visa. Just as we have a visa, some people come to England with a visa of 6 months, 1 year, whatever. So when that visa expires, of course there are a lot of people illegal staying over here. Over there it doesn't happen. Visa expires, we have to leave the world. Right? So when your earthly visa expires, while we are living over here, we develop so many attachments. This is mine, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine. And then when the earthly visa expires, we have to leave everything, and it's snatched away from us with a snap of a finger. You heard about the Katok mission, right? It contains the dialogue between Yamaraj and Nachiketa. A young lad who wants to have knowledge of the self. And Yamaraj is trying to test him and trying to give him all sorts of offers that he would forget about it. He says, look, what are you doing? I can offer you so much. I can give you wealth, I can give you status, I can give you all that anybody desires in the world, wealth, your family and everything. I'm ready to give you all these things in the world. And Nachiketa was unmoved. He said, my dear Mr. Maharaj, so long as you're there, all that you're offering me is of no use. Because with a snap of your finger, you're going to take everything away from me and I'm going to be left crying. So he was not befooled by Yamaraj. He did not accept that. But we forget about this, we become attached. This is mine. And we have come empty-handed, we will leave empty-handed. We know this, but we forget this. So this is the wisdom of the scriptures, which is teaching us that we are here to do our duty. So this philosophy where we have to perform work with detachment of the mind. The whole problem is the mind. The mind is our greatest enemy, and we can make it our greatest friend by connecting it to the teaching of the Divine Master. And he will help us to get out of this vicious circle of birth and death. So the mind becomes a friend when it is connected to these words of wisdom, and when it is attached to this world, it is our enemy. So detached performance is the work of the mind. That's the main thing. हम लोग उल्टा करते हैं. God says, give me your mind. I don't want any kind of, I don't need your body, your physical work. I want your mind. So which is called Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga of the Gita is Krishna ne kaha Parth Govind Radhe Man mujh mein tan yuddh mein laga de. For Arjuna it was yuddh. For us whatever word or duties we have in the world. So tan se Jagat karma, tan se jagat karma, Govind Radhe, man se bhajan, karma yoga bata de. The mind has to be attached. All spiritual practice is to do with the mind. Let us remember that. Whether we chant, whether we read a book, whether we fast, or we go around the different pilgrimage centers, where was your mind? It's all about the mind. Because it's the mind that will liberate us. Through the mind. This has to be purified. So we keep the mind attached to the world, and with physically we perform all the different things we need to, which is to regard as spiritual practice. That's not going to help at all. Mala ferat yug gaya, gaya na man ka fer, kar ka man ka chhad ke, man ka fer. Shri Maharaj writes this to explain in Bhakti Shatan very beautifully. Man hari mein, tan jagat mein, karma yoga yehi jaan, radhe radhe. Aur tan hari mein, man jagat mein, yah mahan agyan, the greatest ignorance is mind to the world and hands to God. And the philosophy of the Gita is hands to world, mind to God. So with this practice, that karma that we are performing is going to one day liberate us. Just think how merciful, what a grace that is. We've got a countless lot of work, karma to go through. But the moment you surrender, everything is forgiven. You don't have to go through anything. Can there be a greater grace than this? Look, in the world it doesn't happen. Suppose a person has committed a murder and he says, please, please, please forgive me. He's saying to the judge, crying, I'm begging. Let me go this time, I will not murder again. He said, well, you will have to go through the hanging this time, we'll think about it next time. Do you mean next time? There won't be a next time. You're going to hang me now, right? There's no forgiveness there. But in the realm of the Lord, there is nothing but forgiveness. But only thing, we feel from the heart, we repent from the heart. That's the main thing. And He is ready to shower His grace on us. All that backlog, we'll never get finished with it. As I said, every moment we We are adding to it. And how much good do we do? And how much wrong do we do? We all know ourselves. So therefore, there is a way out. There is a way out. And this is the philosophy of the Gita and all the scriptures, to aim for surrender. Surrender is about the mind to God and hands to work. Like, which is मन यार में तन कार में, हिंदी में बोला यार मतलब श्री कृष्ण, मन उधर लगाओ और शरीर से संसार में वर्क करो. It requires practice. We are well practiced in this. When we live in the world, about 90% of the time we are doing our duty, whether we go to work or we have unwelcome guests. So it's all a pretension, isn't it? The attachment is restricted to a few. And sometimes setbacks in life, we become detached. Sometimes our own children, they don't want to have anything to do with us. They are so busy in their lives, they don't even think about us. And then we think, oh my God, I spent all my life. We go through all these ups and downs in life, and sometimes we learn our lessons, sometimes we are so helpless in our attachments, the mind is still attached over there. So we have to learn from life. Who am I? And it is separation from Sri Krishna which is responsible for all the suffering that we are going through. So it's forgetfulness of Him. And Gita is all about Yomam Smarati Nityashaha Bhajatam Priti Purvakam. Throughout the Bhagavad Gita, these words echo if you are attentive to it. Think of me, be devoted to me, love me, and you shall come to me. That's all He wants from us. So this in short, I know it's been a lot of stuff that I've given to you, but I've given it to you in simple terms with examples. So hopefully this will explain to you this whole jigsaw puzzle about what destiny is about and how we can get out of it and how we can, even whilst we are living, shape our future, and one day we can be liberated forever from it. So with these words, all this wisdom I've shared with you, in short, it comes from a supreme authority of our world, the fifth original Jagadguru. Some of you must have heard his talks, Jagadguru Shri Kripaluji Maharaj. So he has brought down the scriptures to the doorstep of ordinary man, those profound teachings, those very complex teachings. He has made them very simple, clear-cut, with logic, and millions of people are benefiting from his teachings, which I have shared with you today. So hopefully some of you have already listened to them, taken some books. Please go through them again and again, and you'll find a big transformation that will happen in your life. So with these words, I end this talk about change of destiny. As I said, the very fact that you have come here, you are already shaping your future destiny. And I thank all of you here, and also Dr. Devi, because he's always enthusiastically organizing this talk, and by which all of you benefit as well. And I also get a chance to be able to serve Jagadguru Shri Kripaluji Maharaj, who wants that this wisdom is spread to as many people as possible, because all suffering comes from ignorance, and the right wisdom moves you to the right path to one day attain your supreme goal. Will you